Hey, what's up, folks? This is Sam George of the Bertelsmann Foundation, and today we're talking about how Megatrade deals like TPP and TTIP could affect Latin America. Now, for centuries, many Latin American economies have revolved around digging up natural resources and shipping them overseas. Now, the problem with that is commodity prices are unpredictable, and a focus on natural resources didn't allow the region to build the manufacturing supply chains that have been so successful in East Asia. So, after World War II, a lot of Latin American countries tried to change this by using import substitution industrialization. This meant high tariffs to keep out imports, thus protecting the domestic industry. But without international competition, Latin American products often turned out overpriced and of poor quality. And when the region did try to liberalize in the 1990s, it didn't go so well. So for many countries, it was back to commodities, which was great, while China had a huge growth spurt that pushed demand through the roof. Big demand means big prices, and big prices mean a lot of money pumping into the region. But those prices have fallen in recent years, and Latin America faces a familiar challenge: how to successfully integrate into international trade networks. Now, as fate would have it, just as a number of Latin American countries seek deeper integration into global trade, the world debates a series of Megatrade deals. Megatrade deal? Is that like when the Eagles traded Shady? No. In this case, a Megatrade deal is when a number of large economies join a single trade agreement. Let's start with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, an agreement between Asian and American countries including Mexico, Chile, and Peru. These countries join because they think being part of the group will help them increase exports and join supply chains with other partners. But are they right? Peru could be the big winner here. Our model suggests TPP could lead to a 2.4% increase on real income. Specifically, we see a 45% value-added boost to the metal sector. This is because once tariffs are lowered, Peruvian producers are more likely to refine commodities domestically and export more valuable intermediate goods. For Chile and Mexico, however, TPP may not be such a big deal. Both countries already have deep trade agreements with major TPP partners, so our model suggests a new one might not make that much of a difference. And in the thrust for free trade, that's just the tip. TTIP, the proposed trade agreement between the US and EU, could pose more of a threat to Latin America. Latin American exporters do a lot of business with the US, and if the US and EU come to a liberalized trade agreement, Latin America could lose its insider access to US markets. For example, let's look at Mexico, which has traded freely with the US since 1994. It conducts nearly 80% of its trade with Uncle Sam. If the EU gets NAFTA-like access, Mexican exports to the US could fall by over 5%. Alright, but what about the countries that aren't involved at all? For example, Mercosur countries on Latin America's Atlantic coast are not down with TPP, TTIP, or any of the other mega deals we analyzed. Let's take a look at Brazil, which is not a member in any of the mega deals and maintains relatively high tariffs. Our model suggests that in terms of growth, the mega deals won't have a major effect either way, but they will affect Brazil's export portfolio. With less access to the mega trade deal markets, Brazil could increasingly rely on trade with China, another outlying country, and one which doesn't really need Brazil's manufacturing goods. In our model, Brazil's manufacturing sector would shrink in all scenarios, threatening to leave the country back where it started, digging things out of the earth and sending them abroad. Want to see more? Check out our study online.